So I
Welcome
think
back.
there was like a move today that was also, pretty big overlooked. The Colts released, Shaq Leonard, their, star linebacker who's a four-time first-team All-Pro, who's been, team captain, for 4 or 5 years now, and they just cut him this afternoon. I think this is a move that, I think none of us expected, though. I think it would have been obvious that they would have tried to part ways with him at the end of the season. I mean, like this was a guy that 2 years ago he had the most picks in the league for a linebacker, and he was easily I thought he was the best coverage linebacker in the league last year. I mean, like before all the injuries. So it's really unfortunate. I mean, like that contract, wasn't going to help him trade, wasn't going to help a trade at the end of the year. So it's really unfortunate. The Colts lost, a big veteran leader. Now that he's subject to waivers, it's going to be pretty interesting because they have to pick, teams. They're not going to have a lot of cap space. I mean, like they have what 6.1 million, that they have to clear out. So I think he'll pass through waivers. But I mean, like I'll see a team maybe,
But
I would be
you almost wonder like what impact this has on like what's his name again? Steve Sarkisian, the
Texas.
Colts head coach. Like
oh,
no,
Shane Steichen, yeah.
Shane
Yeah,
Steichen.
same.
Wait,
I mean, like,
Yeah.
wait,
yeah, Shane
Sarkisian.
Steichen, I mean, like he's preached accountability and stuff,
Wait.
and
Then who the hell am I thinking about? Wait,
Steve Sarkisian's the Texas head coach.
Yeah.
I
Again.
don't know why the hell I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
So Shane
Similar
division
Steichen,
name.
like,
rivals.
as part of his new regime, he's preached like accountability and stuff. I mean, like, I'm sure Shaq Leonard took accountability, but I don't think the on-field results were there. He's not playing it to his 2021 form. I mean, like these
Yeah,
back
it's
and
like I saw a Schefter tweet like about the release. Initially, they said Leonard was going to be benched, and then 2 days later, uh, then they said he was going to be released.
yeah.
So
I mean,
wonder
like
what's
it's
up
gonna
with
be
that.
really interesting. I mean, like I would be sick to my stomach if this happens, but Philly, they have, kind of a hole at linebacker.
Yeah. I
I'd be
just like
sick to my stomach
opened
if that
some
happens.
articles about that.
But I think he does want to go to a contender right now. So I think we can take Carolina off the books. I mean, like he went to what South Carolina State, so I think that's off the books. Another team with a linebacking, hole I could see maybe is Tennessee or maybe even Miami. But if he wants to go to a contender, I think right now Philly would probably be the best option for him. It's not that far away. Obviously Shane Steichen knows Philly. He could, help him a little bit out. He could go up to Detroit where, I mean, like sure they have, a solid group of linebackers, but it's always good to have a veteran presence in the locker room, and then maybe Minnesota as well. I mean, like these are all teams that, are on a playoff push. He could help any one of them, pretty easily. So yeah, I think it was really unexpected. I mean, like it was probably going to happen at the end of the year, but just like right now during their bye week in the middle of the season,
Just
I don't think
watch.
anybody
San
expected it.
Francisco's going to pick him up. Just
I,
watch.
I mean, like I don't think so because I mean, like their linebacker core is like one
Yeah,
of the
they're
best. They
stacked.
have
I
what
mean, hey,
Fred Warner, Greg
they just lost to
Kinlaw.
Funga. They just lost Funga.
That's a safety, but like that's
Yeah,
different, and they drafted the safety this year. So
yeah, that's true.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be, but like teams that have a hole at linebacker, I mean, like Philly comes to mind, obviously. Miami's linebacking crew. I mean, like they're kind of solid, but they would get a boost with I could see the Texans or some other AFC South team picking him up. I mean, like the Cardinals just have so many holes on that roster, they could pick him up as well.
I mean,
But if you
Mhm.
I'd find
like,
it quite funny if the Texans pick him up because
yeah.
division
I mean,
rivals.
like I think the problem
Yeah.
right now is that I mean, like just the contract that's so heavy. I mean, like teams
It's
don't
a
have
big
six point
contract.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, teams
96
don't have six
million.
point one million dollars in cap space right now, and I mean, like that's what's going to stop a lot of teams from placing a waiver claim on him. I think he'll pass through waivers. I think he deserves it. Then so he can choose his own team. So I think that's what's going to happen. Could be my guess is as good as yours to wherever he goes, but if he wants to stay home, he could do that. I don't think he will. I think he wants to go to a contender, get healthy. Yeah, so let's talk about the NBA real quickly. Celtics have what the best record in the NBA. They're playing really good ball. Obviously, a big loss in Charlotte last night or the night before. Um, you know, I know the Celtics, obviously they're going to be the team to beat, but let's also talk about the Golden State Warriors. They're not
Draymond
having
Green specifically.
Mm,
Mhm.
that was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, obviously the 5 game suspension, only a few games left of that. But they're not having the season a lot of them thought they would. And
Right.
I don't know. if that's more of a personnel problem,
No, that's
seeing-
because Steph's been out.
Yeah,
well,
that's it. Yeah.
I mean, Steph is the clear catalyst of the team. Even like you take Curry at 30% health, at 30% health, but it's like I don't know. I don't know why Draymond Green just loves getting ejected so much.
yeah.
I can't believe he choked Gobert out. Like that was even for his standards, that was just absolutely not.
I mean, come on. We've seen Draymond do quite an awful
Yeah,
lot of stuff
we've seen
throughout
him
his
do a
career.
lot of. Yeah, that's fair. It's pretty.
Steven Adams
Yeah.
remembers a particularly painful one.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's like every time Steph's out, like he'll do something like obnoxious. But anyway,
Speaking
yeah.
of Celtics, speaking of Payne and the Grizzlies, Marcus Smart is also injured, I believe. He's going to be out
Yeah.
for a while. I mean, like this team right now, it will be a shock for them to make the playoffs, especially because
They're not going to, especially when John Morant is suspended
for
30 games.
Yeah, but like obviously they're gonna have to have it next year. Like the Grizzlies, they could compete, but we just haven't seen it.
Here's the thing I've never understood: why are the Memphis Grizzlies in the Western Conference? And don't give me the Vancouver Grizzlies excuse. Don't give me that. Memphis, Tennessee. Why the hell are they in the Western Conference?
I don't think they can just switch teams in the middle.
No,
like,
you switch conferences.
though?
No, you switch conferences. Like
which team would you switch though? Because you have to have equal number, right? Which team
Minnesota.
Yeah, I guess I
No,
suppose.
wait. I'm an idiot. Minnesota's already in the West, right?
Yeah.
I honestly
you have to
forget.
switch them with the East team.
Yeah.
And all the Eastern teams, except for two, are in the Eastern time.
Maybe you flip a Texas team. Like maybe we put Houston on the East.
But I think Memphis is farther east.
No. I'm saying isn't San Antonio more west than Houston and Texas?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, so then just make Houston an Eastern team, and that's actually speaking of Texas, why the hell are the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East?
Yeah, that one doesn't make.
And why are the Miami Dolphins in the AFC East? They should be in the AFC
rivalry,
South.
I mean,
no, but it's like geographically speaking.
Yeah, I know.
The Colts would make the Colts would make a better opportunity for an AFC East. That's how it was back in the 90s. And the Dolphins should be in the AFC South.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree. Then again, I'm not the commissioner.
Speaking of the Spurs, let's talk about Wembanyama. He's this year he doesn't have to be the elite prospect that he is, but all he needs to do is just show that he has the potential to be right now.
I mean, honestly, all he has to do is just average 5 points a game, and the media will vote him Rookie of the Year.
I think Chet has something to say about that.
No. He's already fallen out of favor with the media. It's all like all the headlines are Wemby. Like even if Wemby gave like a 6-year-old kid a high five or something, they'd still put him at Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Wemby, he's he needs to grow. He has to grow a lot more.
What do you mean he needs to grow? The dude is 7'6".
Thank you. I didn't notice that. I think he needs to he has all those elite traits that you want in any basketball player. He just has to I think Coach Pop has to use them, and he's doing a pretty good job so far. It's not going to be easy, but he's making it a lot more easier than it really appears.
I still think he needs maybe 10 to 15 pounds of muscle.
I think so too.
He's a little bit muscle.
That would help him a lot, match up against some of the more elite players in the league, especially in the interior where he plays so much.
Imagine Wembanyama. His name. Let's just say Wemby. Imagine Victor, an extra 10 to 15 pounds of muscle going against Nikola Jokic. That would be fun.
Speaking of Jokic, let's talk about the season Jokic's having, man.
He was robbed of a 3-peat in MVP, so now he's trying to solidify a dynasty with MVP, 3 and 4 years. Well, then again, he took a different MVP lot in June, so I'm guessing he's not too upset about it.
Prefer the other one. So let's speak of let's go to the Clippers real quickly. Let's go to LA. They obviously won their first game with James Harden a few days back.
Congratulations! It's a miracle you actually won. It's a miracle you actually won a game with James Harden.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Philadelphia. Look at Philadelphia. This is concrete proof. James Harden is malignant. Like, I hate Philadelphia. I hate the Sixers. Really, I do. But seriously, you could have traded James Harden for a bag of Cheetos and you'd still win the trade. Like, Philadelphia, the best decision you've ever made in the past 20 years. It wasn't drafting Embiid. It was not that. It's getting rid of James Harden.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I mean, like getting so many bench pieces as well too. I mean, like that is good. This, but like Nick Nurse, I believe in him. He can take this team to a playoff run. I mean, like sure, there's gonna be a little bit of pains, trying to get Embiid, really incorporated into.
Tyrese Maxey's really stepped up.
He is, I think that's a really good benefit of what Nick Nurse brings.
He might be a most improved player of the year candidate if he.
I think Maxey's, he's the fastest player in the league. I think he's the fastest player in the NBA.
Probably,
right
or maybe
like,
I'd probably give that to maybe De'Aaron Fox.
But looking, just the eye test for me, honestly, just shows how fast Maxey is.
That's true.
Just the eye test still tells me that he's the fastest in the league. And Nick Nurse, I'm pretty sure he can, develop a few matchups to get Maxey in a favorable position. And that's
like I was saying, getting rid of James Harden and Maxey stepped up into the I think the point guard role. Like I think he's a serious candidate for most improved player of the year. Serious candidate.
Yeah. Speaking of improved, let's go to the LA Lakers. Let's name LA real quickly.
Yeah.
This team, they're gonna get to the postseason. They're gonna make a deep playoff run. We all know that. But how is the question?
The refs.
Well,
and LeBron having Adam Silver in his back pocket.
Yeah. So LeBron is obviously, he's going to be LeBron. I mean, like they're, sure we have the less minutes, but I think if this team really wants to show that they can, be and win the NBA Finals, their bench pieces have to show a lot more than they are right now. Sure, they're showing a lot, but they just have to keep being, consistent. And like Darvin Ham's a great coach. I mean, like we saw that last year. His adjustments are some of the best I've seen. But he has to find out how his bench pieces can work together much more effectively in a game right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I have no problem with the Lakers bench being completely ineffective. Zero problem with that.
Yeah, I guess while we're on the topic of the NBA, it's just interesting because each conference kind of looks like. Well, the East looks pretty like what you'd expect, I would say, for the most part. Like you got the Celtics,
Except for the Heat.
One team in the West,
the Magic are in the playoffs, in the 5 seed.
One team in the West that deserves some respect right now. Edwards and the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
They've been playing really solid.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say, yeah, they're in the 1 seed in the West. They're playing out of their minds right now. I mean, that's really impressive. Also, the Thunder are in 3rd, which is pretty crazy too. Honestly, they're still kind of supposed to be rebuilding.
The Thunder in 3rd place.
Yeah,
SGA might be an MVP candidate.
Yeah, and they're tied with the Nuggets, 10-4. I mean, I know it's early, but like the top 3 in the West are Timberwolves, Nuggets, Thunder, and then you got the Mavs, then the Kings, Lakers, Suns, Rockets. So it's the West is kind of like a mixed bag early on, and then the East is kind of like more like what you'd expect, I guess.
I mean, this is what happens, Phoenix. You trade away your entire bench for star players, and you pray to God that they're all healthy. Bradley Beal is still out with injury, and now Kevin Durant has to shoulder more. But then again, Kevin Durant left Golden State to be the alpha on the team, and so far it's not panning all that well out for Phoenix. Like, even though he's complemented with Devin Booker, so I don't really understand Phoenix right now.
That big 3 has to get it together. Like they haven't played at all a single minute or single second this year
because Bradley Beal's been hurt the entire time.
You better figure it out.
And you're already
the Suns right now, they're in win now mode. They hire an NBA champion Frank Vogel for head coach. And he's, the way they got rid of Monty Williams too. This is a very, very narrow win now window for the Suns, and they better exploit it. Unfortunate injuries of course happen, but after this injury, he should be good to go.
I mean, the thing is, Phoenix right now in terms of playoff seeding, they are not doing good, and 1/6 of the season is already done. So these games you got to win them early.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you may have just very well screwed yourself out of a postseason, a championship, and you may put your team into a different type of hell.
Speaking of a different type of hell, let's go to cricket and talk about
Man.
India
All right.
choking, in the
I
cricket
see
World
I see the yellow
Final.
I see the yellow background, and I see you're already paying compliments to Australia. I mean, here's the thing.
It's
I have
unfortunate.
I have absolutely zero problem with Australia winning. Like I really
Yeah.
do.
But
Because
what I
like
do have a
because
problem with is India not being just like
I
you're on
know.
home soil
no
and you're
like
not able to, score and
here's the thing.
win.
And they chose
Let,
the worst
let,
match to have the
let-
worst game. They played
listen,
good
here's the thing.
alternatives.
Here's the way you say. Like, the star players for Australia showed up. David
Yes.
Warner didn't really show up on offense. Mitchell Stark, absolutely amazing as
Yeah.
usual.
Oh, yeah.
Travis Head, he picked the game
Oh
of
my
his life
goodness.
right
And
here.
he had the game. Yes, yeah, one of the best
137.
World Cup games I've seen in
Labuschagne,
Labuschagne, yeah.
really
Great
solid.
game.
And then,
And I'm
like,
Travis Head, he played out of his mind for good, and he
yeah,
played
they didn't need an injured Glenn Maxwell to win the cup right here.
correct. Credit Australia for coming into a hostile
No,
environment,
serious credit.
pulling off a big win.
See,
Let's talk
here's the
about
thing.
India.
I'm not mad at India for losing. I'm mad at the way they lost.
Yes, but you cannot score 240 points and expect to defend that against
I
Australia.
know.
and that's who
you lost at
that's who
home.
we were at 80 runs at 10 overs. We were on 400 pace. I mean, granted, I don't expect us to keep that up. Really, I don't.
Mhm.
But I mean, it'd be nice if that
I think
happened.
the turning point was when Rohit Sharma got out. Because
No,
we could not
Travis had spectacular diving catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the cat. It was like an NFL.
But speaking of diving, did you notice Australia in the field?
Oh, yeah.
Always diving for the boundaries, preventing the balls from
Yeah.
touching the boundaries,
Mhm.
getting forced, always getting the ball back to the pitch quickly. Did you see any of that effort with India? No, we were all lazy. We're all lackadaisical. We all look like we didn't give a damn. We all look like we gave up by like the 15th over on defense. Everyone was like too busy, just like lackadaisically fielding the ball. They're just like, trotting along, and then like they're just walking to like
I think
they're just walking to the
credit,
mailbox, and then just lazily slinging the ball over into the pitch. No
Australia,
effort, no passion, no guts.
Australia deserves a ton of credit for what they did on Sunday or whatever. Was it Sunday?
Sunday.
On Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. They deserve all the credit in the world because they came in with a game plan to limit India as offensively as possible. And we only scored 240 off 300, which is crazy. I mean, this India offense that's been elite in the World Cup, they just decided not to show up.
I know.
And, Australia also had a playing, defensively, right?
No.
Hold India.
Here's the thing. Australia has always been a pain in India's side for the past 20 years when it comes to cricket. You remember the storyline? I don't know if you guys remember the storylines going into the match. I mean, first of all, this was 40 years, but this was like 40 years before we won our first World Cup. That was 1983. And 20 years ago, I believe, was India's second finals matchup in the World Cup. Who did we lose to? Australia. So then, the storyline coming into this is, will India exact revenge on Australia for the 2003 loss, and will India claim their third title in 40 years? Obviously, we saw what happened. Australia claimed their sixth World Cup Finals championship, and I believe 8 appearances. If you think about it, Australia has basically been almost the New England Patriots when it comes to the ICC, almost.
And I will say this too: Australian offense, I mean, the way their defense played, all they had to do was just hit ones. All they could do is they could just take all these ones, I mean, dot balls really wouldn't have hurt them much, but all they had to do was just take these ones and back and forth.
You saw by the 20th over, they were way above the required run rate.
Yeah.
We could not get wickets. We could not get wickets, and our best bowlers
did not need to do anything spectacular or otherworldly to win. All they had to do was keep themselves ahead of the pace, take a run or two every ball, and they would be fine.
Our best bowlers in the worst possible moment turned to piss.
Yeah, Rohit Sharma, I think his out.
No. Honestly, listen, there are 3 people I need to talk about. Rohit Sharma, regardless if you retire or not, good riddance. Get out. You have been honestly, I am so fed up with the way this guy directs where to stand on the pitch, where to stand on the field. You saw against Australia, he made 0 adjustments to adjustment on the boundary. Literally 0. I mean, honestly, I don't really know like who has that much influence on like boundary direction, whether that's Rohit Sharma or the coach Rahul Dravid. I don't really know, but he should still at least be able to come up with something for these adjustments, and also of how inconsistent he's always in on offense. Like every other game or every 3 games, this man decides to just like stuck like on offense. I mean, granted, he played pretty decently on offense. I mean, he lost out on a spectacular catch. I can't fault him there, but I'm criticizing him because of his complete inability to just manage the pitch and locations of where the fielder should be. Number 2, Shubman Gill. Thank you again for being the most useless batsman on the team.
And
And
the
number
problem is
3,
that like he went off in the in the what do you call it? I'm certainly blanking. He went off in IPL, but now here,
this is ICC. Forget IPL.
yeah, looks like that's kind of you kind of
And number 3, I hope Narendra Modi is hearing me, even though he never will. Number 3, I never want to see Mohammad Siraj bowl for an Indian cricket team ever again. Never.
yeah.
He's by far been our worst bowler. He's screwed us out of. He has made all these overs way more complicated than needs to be. He makes no adjustments. He's just relying purely on the ball. He has no idea how to place everything. Like,
I think
seriously, good
what
riddance.
you're saying,
Never pitch for,
Jitesh,
never bowl for India again. Never.
Jitesh, what you're saying though, that was a problem a lot of India bowlers faced on Sunday. They just did not know what to do against Australia's conservative batting system.
No, the 2 best bowlers were our spinners, Jadeja and Kuldeep Yadav. They
Yeah,
were.
but like, I mean, we had to use their overs up pretty quickly because of Australia's pace too.
I mean, Boomer was average, but at least he took 2 wickets.
Mhm.
Mohammed Shami. Okay, I was very surprised at how bad he was today.
Yeah,
And especially given the 7-wicket masterpiece against New Zealand, I was very shocked. I mean, Mohammed Siraj sucking, I wasn't surprised by that. Like, because he's been awful throughout this tournament, and I seriously hope he never bowls for India again. I really wish he doesn't. I mean, would things have been different if Hardik Pandya, the utility man for India, if he didn't get injured? Possibly, I don't know. But even he has shown like vulnerability when he was more of a bowling. He was pretty solid overall when batting, but that's just before he got hurt. But as a bowler, he was streaky. He wasn't trash. That's Mohammed Siraj. He was just streaky. Okay, I think I might have gotten some of my venting over some of it. Anything you guys want to add?
I mean,
I think
yeah, I think we
India,
pretty much
this is
covered it.
Now, come on,
we
Arnav,
did not, I mean, like we played the worst ball at the worst possible time, and so we deserve to lose this one. That's really it.
This is worse than what Brazil, than how Brazil got humiliated against Germany in 2014. This is way worse. Because, I mean, sure, Brazil also got humiliated
as poor as India played.
soil.
I mean, like Australia, they just like they were the more physical, they were the more intense, and they were more importantly they were the smarter team.
And let's not forget, in the round robin, out of the 9 games we played, who's the toughest team we went against? Australia.
Yeah,
and that was not an easy game to win the first match of the tournament right there. Australia played. I mean, it was a fairly low scoring game at that end too. So it's like that kind of gave me false hope in thinking that maybe India could hold their own. But there's a difference. India was taking wickets in that first game. That didn't happen here.
Yeah,
and we didn't really have a whole lot of wicket opportunities. But where we did have opportunities was to save runs by running to the ball when I was traveling towards the boundary instead of just jogging after, like you're going for the Sunday paper in the driveway, and no one seemed bothered about getting the ball into the pitch quickly. Like literally no one. Like that's what pissed me off. Like if you lost on maximum effort and you're going bowl for bowl, over for over, hit for hit, and you lost like that while diving for the balls each time, so be it. I can take that.
right.
But when you lose showing zero effort, it pisses me off. Like Arnav, for example, against Washington, I forget Yeah, was it last year when Joe Judge was your coach, or was that the year
Oh
before?
my God. I know
You
what
know
you're
what I'm gonna
talking
bring.
about. Yeah,
Like
it's the sneak. Oh,
the third and nine QB sneak. Did that not piss you off?
it did very much. And I
Yeah,
think,
if
yeah, I mean, then they
because
fired him like after the
yeah,
game, but
if like for example, if you had lost that down on an incompletion, so be it, right?
fine, right? Yeah, but you can't like QB. The fans are so frustrated, and rightfully so. I mean, you just can't not give the maximum effort, and they played their worst game at the worst time. Like, going back to cricket. But I mean, I woke up, I saw India was at 240, and I was just like, oh my God, like we're not going to be able to hold it. And sure enough, we didn't, and it wasn't even that hard
I
for
mean,
them. So
like I said, I had the false hope because we held Australia to 200 in the first game, but that was because we were actually playing defense, something which India did not seem keen on playing for some reason.
yeah,
I don't know
that
why.
too. Yeah, it was just
And also, we
yeah.
were able to take wickets. Boomer was spectacular in that first match. Spectacular. I mean, Boomer was still pretty decent here. Like he took 2 wickets, and really we should have lost by 7 wickets. But Australia is feeling generous to give us a wicket, like before they solidified the World Cup victory. So really, it's a lot closer than what I can't even say it looks closer. It's a lot less it's a lot less horrible looking than what it should be. We got no, we didn't get Brazil. We got worse than that because this is Brazil. Sure, they got humiliated on home soil in the semifinals. We got humiliated on home soil in the finals. That's way more embarrassing.
Yeah.
And at least Brazil had an opportunity to redeem themselves somewhat. And I think the Summer Olympics when they won the tourney, at least that's some redemption. What are
Mhm.
we gonna do here? The next World Cup is not till 27, and the T20 tournament, like, come on, like that's nowhere near redemption enough for losing an ICC tournament. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you can kind of make that same argument with the Summer Olympics compared to the FIFA World Cup. So I guess it's kind of similar. But and the thing that pissed me off too, this may have very well been Virat Kohli's last chance at a World Cup.
Uh,
He's 35 right now. I mean,
yeah.
he might probably have one more like tourney in him. I don't know, honestly. I really don't know.
Mhm.
Virat Kohli deserved better than this. Like we won in 2011, and then I had a 12-year dry spell. Choked against Australia, choked against New Zealand, choked against Australia now. Like we have repeatedly wasted Virat Kohli's greatness. Repeatedly. Like we've seen this time to time. We've seen several players across many different sports have their talents and their greatness wasted by pure incompetence of the team, of the management, and of everything. For example, the Chargers, they love wasting greatness. Philip Rivers, and soon to be Justin Herbert, probably. Um, who else can we think of right now?
Hmm. Hmm. Tough one.
Oh wait, I know. Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Wasted greatness. And
Mhm.
frankly, I hope Shohei Ohtani just ditches the Angels. I cross my fingers that
Yes,
it's not the
he
Dodgers.
should, but
I hope it's not the Dodgers. That's all I hope. I don't care who you sign with, just don't make it the Dodgers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess going back to that point about, the effort, or still on this. Yeah,
Well,
it's
lack of
one thing
effort.
to a lack of effort. It's one thing to lose, but to lose like, to play so well a tournament and in the final, like, come up with 240 and not, play
And that's
with
who
a lack of effort.
undefeated.
And yeah,
Undefeated.
undefeated. They rolled through the group stage very dominant. They're scoring like 300 plus runs a game, and then this one they go 240, and then they're playing with low effort on defense, and while Australia's chasing every boundary, it was just frustrating. And then seeing Australia not even have to.
Australia deserved to win. India
They
deserved to
did
lose. That's the
exactly.
facts. But that
Yeah.
still doesn't change the fact that I'm really pissed off at how India lost. Like I said, if you'd lost giving maximum effort, like like put it like just diving for the ball, running in fast to make sure Australia is limited to one run instead of it going to two, so
Right.
be it. so be it. I can take that. I mean, of course, it'll still suck, but at least I can take
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
for you to lose in that fashion, where it seemed like nobody gave a damn, where no one was showing any effort, no one was showing hustle, no one was showing passion, no one was showing heart, no one was showing guts, no one was showing any damn effort, it pisses me off. It really does. Like, you, like, why do you even play the game? Why? If you clearly demonstrated that you did not care throughout the final, why?
Yeah.
Is
Tough
Kapil
one.
frozen?
Um,
I can't
looks
tell.
looks like it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I guess I know I'm just being petty about the whole Eagles thing, but like the Chiefs, like MVS dropping the ball, like if the Eagles just won the game, like fine, they played
Come,
well and all, I get
listen.
it, but like have seeing
Listen. That's a
MVS drop
stupid.
the football,
Listen. That's a
like that
stupid regular season.
frustrated me. But
Listen,
yeah, it's a regular season game. I
it's a
wasn't gonna
stupid
lose my
regular
mind
season game.
over it, but
This is
seeing
the
the way it
finals.
happened made me upset. But yeah, I mean, the finals, it's just like magnified 10 times. Like it's basically like the Super Bowl. It's more than that. I mean, it's the World Cup.
In our case, in the case of India, it's more like magnified times a billion, because there's a
Yeah,
billion of us,
a billion.
and counting.
As I said, a billion hearts were crushed, and it's unfortunate, but I don't know. Life goes on, I guess. I mean, I don't really know what to say. It's kind of like a little bit depressing, but I'm trying to use other sports to kind of lift my hopes, but
Well,
we'll have
there's
to see.
hockey.
But yeah, you want to cover that while we're still here for the final
Sure.
next
I
minute?
guess so. Let me just get this over with. The Boston Bruins with a very embarrassing loss to Tampa Bay yesterday. Honestly, the less said about it, the better. I don't understand how our defense broke down within the last 2 minutes. We let old man Stamkos, and Stamkos is a great player, definitely Hall of Famer. Literally he ties the game. 5 seconds left in regulation. Are you kidding me? It's like we learned literally
That's crazy.
nothing against last year. It's almost exactly like that. We've learned
Yeah,
damn nothing. And of course,
right.
Tampa Bay puts the game away in overtime. Like, it's not on Swayman. It's on our defense core for just completely breaking down at the wrong time. It's still Swayman. You gotta come up with some saves, buddy. Like, come on. Another surprise. Well, I can't really call it a surprise now, but it's like the Vancouver Canucks, like especially last year with the whole chaos going around Bruce Boudreau and how
Yeah, they're doing pretty
unceremoniously,
good.
yeah, yeah, but it's like last year when they just dropped off Bruce Boudreau like that, like it doesn't sit right for me because even though Bruce Boudreau's had a really tough time in the postseason, he's still a good coach, still has good repertoire, still has respect, around the league. But I mean, he's been plugged in for Rick Tocchet right now, and I would say Rick Tocchet is in serious contention with the Jack Adams Award with because Vancouver's really turned it around. They're looking really great. Quinn Hughes making Quinn Hughes as captain has looked like a really good choice. Me personally, I mean, I said before the season, I'd rather have Elias Pettersson as captain for the Canucks. Apparently, I should shut up because I don't know anything. Quinn Hughes has been a fantastic captain, fantastic so far. Um, and so, yeah, I think Rick Tocchet would definitely be in consideration for the Jack Adams, or if not, even like if Detroit is able to keep pace with where they are right now, because as I talked about before, like like Arnav, you knew of like the entire like cap hell and the mess that Detroit Red Wings were in for years, right?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
did. I know they've been
yeah,
struggling and they've been the whole
yeah.
mess.
It took a long time to clean that mess up. Uh, you know, when the Red Wings try saying that 5 times fast whenever you get a chance. When the Red Wings,
One the
um,
right way.
yeah, but like when they're trying to extend their consecutive playoff streak, which reached 25 years in a row, if I remember correctly, from 2016. They're trying to hold on to that instead
Yeah,
of
I
just
remember
like
that.
instead of blowing it up, extending all those contracts out to aging veterans who are declining rapidly. They just locked themselves into hell. And that's why Detroit consistently for the past like 3 4 years has been one of the worst teams in the league. But uh Detroit, like now that Steve Eiserman Detroit Red Wings legend, of course, with those Stanley Cups. He's really turned it around. Like now we can really see the Yzer plan really flourish. I think that the Detroit Red Wings, I mean, they're far from Stanley Cup contenders right now, but they can really go places. Same with the Ottawa Senators, except the problem is the Ottawa Senators just always love getting off the slow starts. I don't know why, but it's just something they do. They've been picking it up lately, but someone who's really declined in the East right now, Buffalo Sabres. I can definitely say I wasn't really expecting this right now. I was expecting them to take a step forward. And then, honestly, I was expecting the Bruins to take a step back. I mean, I'm not expecting 65 wins again from the Bruins. I was thinking maybe we could hold our ground around 50, but seems like Jim Montgomery has other things on his mind right now. But Devils news for you, my friend.
Yeah,
Jack Hughes
he's
is coming back.
Yeah, I heard. Thank God, because they needed that. They're
Because
not doing
the
too great
Devils
lately.
the Devils offense was looking a bit lifeless
Yeah,
without him, but their defensive core still needs some work. But one team within the New York metropolitan area that has really been red hot. Well,
the Rangers.
the New York Rangers.
Oof.
I would definitely, as I said last time when I was talking hockey, I would definitely argue that they're the best team in the league. They've been so damn good. And this is without Adam Fox, like their best defenseman. They've been really damn good. Alexis Lafreniere finally looks like the number 1 overall pick we saw from a couple of years ago. It seems like he's starting to flourish really well. Artemi Panarin, I believe a 15 consecutive game streak where he's registered a point. He's on a really good pace right now. Yeah, a team that's not exactly on a good pace right now, the Edmonton Oilers, because even though you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, last year we were able to bail out this pathetic defense because those two were just magicians on the ice. But now that Connor's been nursing an injury while playing, and Leon's been right there, and their defense still sucks, and their goaltending still sucks, they have serious problems right now. They're at the bottom of the league. And of course, as you know, their infamous loss to the San Jose Sharks. It's not a good look. Vegas has been playing well. Colorado's been rebounding well. It's going to be tough. There's still time. It's going to be a very tough climb.
Yep.
And I guess that's a brief hockey recap right now.
All right. Well, it's about all the time we got. Flyers surprisingly second in Metro, but yeah, it's been a busy episode in Sports Vibe, and as always, we will see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the break.